Good evening. I'd like to call to order the Tuesday, June 5th special meeting of the Town Council Committee of the Whole. All members are present. Calendar and communications, I don't believe we have anything at this point. Correct, Mr. Burton? Okay. So we're on to new business, and the first item on the agenda is 2018-0135, establishment of tax rate for general fund. And Finance Director Landry is here with us this evening. And she sent out a memo outlining where we stand. And then she also provided information on options for us that I think we all received. So we'll let Ms. Landry start us off. Hi.
Am I good?
We're good.
Hopefully you've had a chance to read through my referral, maybe look through the backup that I had provided. I just wanted to give a brief overview of what happened during the budget. We had a proposed budget of $128.6 million. The council made adjustments to bring it down to $125.9 million, and the RTM ultimately passed a budget of $125.8 million. And the proposed budget would have required a mill rate increase of 1.24, and the final budget with the mill rate that I'm proposing is a 0.45, or a 2.3% increase in the mill rate.
0.54.
Excuse me? What did
0.54.
Sorry, what did I say?
4.5.
Sorry. These numbers have been going around in my head for like days.
Transposition.
I don't know, do you want, pardon me?
I'm sorry, the correct number is?
0.54.
0.54
Thank you.
and 2.3% increase is where we stand right now.
Thank you. Sorry.
And you'll note that in my referral memo, the mill rate that I'm proposing does not make use of any of the existing fund balance. We find ourselves at in a very rare opportunity with the additional increase to the ECS money. As you know, the 18 budget we as proposed had included a $5 million increase to ECS. That was ultimately restored because we are now an alliance district. And it is an opportunity that is not likely ever to happen again. And recently we did increase our debt policy to say that we wanted to have a minimum of 11% and gradually move to a 15%, which is what the rating agencies look for. When we just went and had the rating agencies done for the April sale, Fitch had noted that a minimum would be 11%. And we have several things. We have the bond rating agencies. We also know that ultimately we will no longer be an alliance district. We're into year one. After 4 years, and we all know that that's probably going to result in another big decrease to the ECS. I think the superintendent has made that perfectly clear. And the other thing that I wanted to point out is we do have the debt service that will be coming on once the school project really gets up and rolling, and we'll have those additional bond issues. So this gives us an opportunity to kind of beef up or increase the fund balance for things that may be coming down the road. And one other thing I wanted to mention is the uncertainty of state grants. We're seeing the pilot money from the state is being decreased year after year, and we just have so much uncertainty at the state level and continued funding of municipal grants. So that's my several reasons of why I am proposing that we do not use fund balance this year.
One of the things that we had asked the manager and you to do is to give us some scenarios if we did choose to use some of the fund balance. And I was wondering if you could just review that briefly, please.
Okay. Do you just want the impact on the mill rates?
Yeah, so if, say for example, if we use $250,000, what would the mill rate be? What would the impact be on the average homeowner or per 100,000 of house value?
Yep. If you were to decide to use $250,000 fund balance, it would bring the mill rate down to 24.10, would be a 0.47 increase.
Could you repeat that, please?
It would bring it down to a mill rate of 24.10, or an increase of 0.47, and that would be a 2% increase over the mill rate. I do have scenarios of I had $100,000, a $200,000, and a $300,000 house, and it would be the annual impact. Using no fund balance, using the 100, 200, and 300 would be $54, $108, or $162 on an annual basis. If you were to choose to use $250,000 of fund balance, those numbers would be $47, $94, or $141.
Okay. So does anyone have questions at this point for the finance director or for Mr. Burt? Councilor Deeb?
I'm basically in favor of, the 2.3% because I think we need to set money aside going forward, as you've said. But if we used, say, 100, 250,000, 300,000, what is the impact on, like, where do we land for the fund balance?
The percentage? Using zero fund balance would put us at a 14% fund balance. If we use the 250,000 would put us at a 13% fund balance.
Do you have further?
And how much was it last year, the fund balance?
Pardon me?
How much was the fund balance last year?
We brought it down to the 7.75%.
Okay.
The increase in revenues is what's really driving that, the net of operations in 18. And as I said, it's just an opportunity that will not come again.
Thank you.
Councilor Atwater?
Could you give me the dollar amount of the fund balance?
The current fund balance?
Yes.
Okay, the current fund balance is $8.9 million.
And if we use zero of it, that stays at? or
Pardon
is
me?
it- If we use zero,
No, what
From-
would happen is it would increase to,
I assume there would be some contribution made at the end of the year of,
well, what would happen is the net of operations would, the increase of revenues over expenditures would flow into fund balance. I'm just trying to. If we did not use fund balance, I'm estimating that we would end with $17 million.
17.
Yes,
So that's almost double the current value?
yes.
Okay.
It's driven by the increase. We had anticipated getting so much less in revenue, that the revenues have increased significantly over what we had estimated for 18. And there is, in my referral, I think it's the third page, actually. It's the last page. We'll show you the increase in the general fund revenues and how they have increased only, even from March to, when we estimated in March to June, because at March we didn't know the final result of the state budget either. And you can see the increases for pupil impact aid went up, property taxes have increased for an additional $2 million over what we had estimated we were going to receive in March. So the money that we thought we were going to use for the fund balance for 18, we will not need it, and we'll also be increasing additional revenues into the fund balance.
Councilor Parker?
So if we did the 250,000, what would the dollar amount be between, it would be above 8.9, but less than 17 million, so what would it be?
It would be 17.7.
17.7 if we use the 250,000, if we use fund balance.
I apologize, 17.5. It would be 17.7 using 0, 17.5 if you use the 250. I apologize for that.
So just to clarify,
Yes,
if we use $250,000 of fund balance, that would give us a 2% tax increase.
true.
That would be a 0.47 mil increase.
Correct,
We would end up having 13% in our fund balance,
correct,
and that would equal dollar value of 17.5 million.
correct.
Okay. And that is a big improvement over where we ended last year.
Yes, and the 7.75% was our minimum, and we did increase that recently with the debt policy. And the increase in, well, you all know what happened during the 18 budget and what we went through to get that. And then things just dramatically turned around, primarily with the finance district. And that's why I say that influx of the $5 million is just so unexpected, and it's never going to happen again. And for us not to take that opportunity to increase our fund balance at this point, I really strongly feel that that's what we should do.
So the prior council set the policy at 11 with the goal of 15 eventually.
True.
Okay. Any other counselors wish to address this? Counselor Franco.
Mr. Burt, what would your recommendation be?
I stick with my esteemed finance director, 0. I wouldn't be upset with 250. I mean, it's a minimal difference, but I like to put away as much for a rainy day as possible. Sorry, I should have mentioned that. So my recommendation is 0, but I wouldn't be upset at 250. So.
Go ahead. You look like you were ready to say something.
Well, I can understand that you want to use some to mitigate the tax increase, but I just, on a $300,000 house, it's $20 a year. It's $2 a week is the difference. It's not a big difference.
To leave it.
You mean
as-
$2 a month, Cindy? If it's $20?
No, I'm saying between the two, the 0 and the 250. It's between $162 annually and $141 annually. That's the increase. Did I speak it wrong? Sorry.
You said a week.
Oh, well, I have annual, monthly, and weekly.
Okay.
Counselor Aubrey?
No, that answered my question.
Counselor Atwood?
I don't have a question, but I have a comment that somehow that if we use 250 and you come up with a 2% increase, to me, that has a nice ring to it. On the other side, if it's only going to cost, $21 a year, that's such a nominal amount. Yeah, I'm really torn. I mean, I
understand.
I guess I could see it going either way, but
I do have a question. Is that per 100,000?
That was a house assessed at $300,000. I have 100, 200, and 300.
Okay.
Because it would be, on $100,000, it would be at a .54, $54.
And the average house among realtor is about 260 in Groton?
We do the 100, 200, 300. It's easier for people to say, well, my house is 1.5 times that, or twice that, or 3 times that. Then if we use the median or the mean house, it's a little bit more difficult for people to put that in their own situation.
I think this is good that you do this. It's easier for us to understand what it means to the individual citizens. Anybody who hasn't spoken yet wish to speak?
Well, it just seems that the increase in charge would be so minimal that it would be foolhardy not to go with the 0.
That's my feeling.
Did anybody? Councilor Zucari?
I would just comment that the die is cast. We went through the budget. We appropriated funds for different projects and for different departments. And now that that's done, we have to ante up and get the tax rate to cover it. We did our best to keep the costs down, but this is where we are, and I think we should go ahead with it. I don't think that a difference of $250,000 from the fund to cover just to get the tax rate down to a 2% increase from a 2.4% increase is a very big deal that warrants arguing. But what I would say to all of us is that we have to be extremely careful as we're appropriating funds, because this is where we wind up. And we wind up increasing taxes and making ourselves look bad with our constituents. So I think that as we go forward, we should be very cautious when people come up and say we want extra money for this or for that.
Counselor Aubrey?
Yeah. I'm quite torn on this because I know that every time the taxes change just a little bit, it's like when the interest rate goes up just a little bit, it eliminates certain buyers who want to buy a house because everything is calculated in to that payment as to whether you can handle it or you don't handle it. And sometimes $25 puts you right out of the running. But I think that with what we have ahead, schools especially, that if we could get our fund balance up and then go forward with other things, you know, this would be the one time we were doing something like this. I think that, yeah, we'll take a little heat no matter what we do, but I think I'm leaning towards just leaving it alone.
Anyone else? Yeah, I'm torn too. Of course, you want to keep taxes down, but you want to do what's fiscally responsible as well. And we pay our finance director to give us advice, and she's advising us at this time that this is an opportunity that we may not have going forward. And we are moving towards the policy that was set to increase the fund balance. So I think we're being responsible by doing that. Is there any other discussion on this, or are you all prepared to vote? Prepared to vote? Okay, so, well, we are voting to, the staff recommendation is what I'm hearing from all of you. So I would take a motion to move forward the staff recommendation on the setting of the tax rate for FYE 2019.
I'll make that motion.
Moved by Aubrey, seconded by Heed. Any further discussion on the staff recommendation for FYE 2019 mill rates? Yes.
One question. Did we take care of that 34 cents for Mumford Cove?
Or 17 cents, as I recall.
Oh,
that-
17?
That was the suspense list.
Okay, just want to make sure we took care of that big
No,
problem.
the 34
Not
cents
there
is their
yet,
mill
not
rate.
there yet. Okay, so all those in favor of setting the tax rate according to staff recommendation for FYE 2019, say aye. Aye. Opposed, abstaining, so moved unanimously. Okay, so now we are on to 2018-0136, which is establishing the tax rate for Mumford Cove District. And you can see again on the same memo that Director Landry provided, she indicates that maintain the mill rate of 0.34, and, well, we'll leave it at that for now. So we're doing these one at a time, we're voting. Is there any discussion on setting the mill rate for Mumford Cove Taxing District? Or did you want to say anything? I'm sorry, I didn't offer.
No, nothing more than was said at the budget. Mumford Cove is primarily, the tax rate is primarily to cover their fire district that they contract from Noank Fire District. Fire protection, I'm sorry.
Any discussion? Seeing none, is there a motion for this, please?
I make the motion that the mill rate for Mumford Cove be 0.34 mils.
Second?
Moved by Parker, seconded by Heed. Any discussion on setting the Mumford Cove mill rate? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining, so moved unanimously. And the last item is 2018-0137, establishment of tax rate for Groton Sewer District Fund, FYE 2019. And again, you have the finance director's recommendation for us here, which is to maintain the mill rate of 0.27 mils. Any discussion?
If you want to just, for those that are watching, kind of give a brief
On the sewer
explanation.
district? The sewer district is primary, we call it a debt service fund. It does cover, the taxes are levied to cover the principal and interest payment on sewer debt, which is what does the upgrades for maintenance at the treatment plant. There is also a small part of expenditures that part of the tax bills, those that have sewer district taxes on them, are also charged here instead of totally into the general fund.
Any questions or further discussion? Seeing none, is there a motion for the sewer district 2018-0137?
I'll move.
Moved by Atwater, seconded by Schmidt. Any further discussion on 2018-0137? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, so moved unanimously. And I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Moved by Parker. Is there a second? Seconded by Zafari. All those in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining, so moved unanimously. Thank you. We are adjourned at 6:26. All right.